Hi everybody, this is Natasha Wilkinson, your independent Sensi consultant from Mount Isa, Australia. So, I'm coming to you today with a video that is a little bit different. Normally, I won't do melting baskets for what I plan on warming for the next month, but when I was creating the At Wax Home series with me, which I haven't still finished editing and uploading. There's still quite a few episodes I do have to edit and upload. I came to the realization I have a lot of wax. And I mean a lot of wax, not just Sensi, vendor as well. But this video is focusing on Sensi. I'm thinking of doing a use it up type segment throughout the months of separate ones for Sensi and vendor, and in doing that I feel that melting baskets are going to come into play with this. Now, just to give you an indication, and I'm just going Sensi wise, when I did that video, I was reorganizing my wax, putting my winter wax, what I'm probably not going to warm. Basically, I started warming summer wax for this month from October. So my winter wax, I'm probably not going to see till it's cooler again. So I took all that out of my stash and put it into a separate area so I could see just how much summer wax I had that I needed to get through over the next 3 months. And before I actually did the changeover in summer wax, I had over 177 bars of wax that I would probably just warm in summer, and that was before I added wax like strawberry rose, vanilla bean buttercream, sugar cookie. That's before I added staple waxes that I warm throughout the whole year. So I've come up with the idea to do a project, use it up, with my vendor wax. I'm going to try not to buy any more vendor wax until I have dwindled down with that. I am not a consultant for vendor wax, but I do enjoy vendor wax. So as much as I'm like, ooh, sale and want that wax, I feel I need to use up what I've got first before I go buy more, because otherwise it's just going to sit there. I know I will continue to buy Sensi. I have a Sensi club, so I know I will still have a fair bit of Sensi coming through the door. But my aim here is to warm more than I have coming through. So saying that, you're going to see at the end of my warmings how many wax bars I got through, how many wax bars I purchased, and then I'm going to say in it what ones would be Sensi Club worthy for me, what ones would be repurchases, what ones I wouldn't like. But I need to have a focal point of where to start warming and what to warm, so I can focus on using waxes I probably wouldn't normally use. I might buy a wax, not like the smell of it, have it sit there and just not use it, or I may enjoy it, but I just may not reach for it. There might be other waxes I prefer. So I feel like this is going to be a way for me to reach for some things that I wouldn't normally reach for. And I do know in November and December is where I typically start to get into the Christmas mood and the Christmas spring of things, and my melting kind of diverges away from seasonal to Christmas scents and scents that make the house feel Christmassy. So saying that, when I was reorganizing for my Scentsy stash. As I said, this video is about Scentsy. This box is full packed of scents that I would typically only warm in the months of November and December. So this has become, I guess you could say, my November and December melting basket. These are Christmas scents I want to work through, because what I did when I first started in 2020 is there was some scents Christmas wise that I fell in love with, but they're not scents that typically come into our catalogue. So I had them in Scentsy Club, and then they made their way to the clearance section for $5 each, I think, at that time. And yes, I was getting a discount in Scentsy Club. I was getting them for $9 as opposed to $10 each. So I thought, I will take them out of my Scentsy Club and purchase up big. So that year, when they made their way to the clearance, I was buying 9 and 10 of a particular scent for $5 each and hoarding them in a box just for Christmas. I have since found maybe that's not the best way to do that, because it does, as I said, give a big stash of wax that I don't warm any other time of the year, and some of it can get a bit goopy. So going forward, instead of doing that, any Christmas scents that I like, what I would do is I'm going to put it in one bar only in a quarterly Scentsy Club, which would be my summer one, because that's the one that comes quarterly. And that means I would get, if I don't skip, 4 bars in a 12-month period. If I do skip, which I generally do skip, I skip through the months December, January, February, because they're our hottest months here in Australia, and even with ice packs, I find my bars still come quite sweaty. So they're the months I generally will be skipping my Scentsy Club, usually from November through to January. I do have one coming next month, and then a lot of skipping because I do also have a monthly club. So that will still give me, though, 3 bars coming before Christmas. So for instance, Disney with Mickey, I have absolutely loved. I brought a stash last year to use this year, which I have in here. But I now put it in my club after it processed. That's coming this month. So I won't get a bar of that in my club this month because I put it in after it processed. And then I skipped it for February. So, October, November, December, no, January. So because they're meant to come in January, I skipped my January shipment. So it's not going to come to March, April, May. So I'll get a bar in May, and then I'll get a bar in June. I'll get a bar in August, September, October, and I'll get a bar in November. So I will get 3 bars of that before Christmas, and that will be plenty that I will use at Christmas time without going overboard in a collection. So my aim this year's Christmas, though, is to use up the majority of what I already have in my Christmas box. I want to try and get through, I don't think I'll get through all of this, but for my project, as I said, that I need to start doing project use it up. I feel like for November and December, I have plenty of Christmas wax. Yes, I will still be getting a little bit of the scents of the season. I'll still be getting some more of the Scentspirations, but I won't be going crazy over the amount I buy. I will be buying enough to use this Christmas, and the ones that I really, really love, that I feel like I want to warm next Christmas in case it doesn't come back, will go, as I said, in that quarterly club where I will only get 3 bars through the year that will be used for my Christmas warming. So I feel like this is going to be the easiest way to start off with trying to get my wax stash down by focusing on a specific season that I know these specific bars I only use at a specific time of year, so I can focus on basically using up my Christmas wax. And then in December I will be creating another warming basket to focus on using up that 177 plus bars of summer wax, and then being very strategic with what I put into my summer club, so I'm not bringing in more wax than I am consuming. So let's get started and look at what I plan on using for Christmas, November, December. And I will say I've kind of set it up in this box because in November I start off light and then I migrate towards the heavier tree scents. So my warming will reflect this in November, what I would be doing. So I've got one side that would be more kind of November specific, the other side that's going to be kind of more December specific as we get closer to Christmas. So I always like to start off when I'm transitioning into Christmas with basically resetting and refreshing the house, setting the mood for Christmas. And for me, that typically will involve minty scents. It will be clearing the house and cleaning the house with minty scents. So I have popped into my melting basket for November, December 2 silver bells. This does come in my Scentsy Club, and I actually do have more than 2 silver bells on hand. It is a beautiful candy cane minty scent. You get the sweet candy cane. It's got a little bit of a pear note in it, which kind of adds this crisp brightness to it. I will warm this in every room in the house. That is how much I love that. That's kind of why I threw 2 bars in there. I could potentially use more than 2 bars, but I know I'd like to work on at least 2 bars over November and December, if not more. So I did throw in vanilla mint. So this is from our current scents of the season. That will be available on the 1st of November to actually purchase. You can actually purchase the set with the 4 different fragrances, or you can just purchase this bar by itself. Now, this isn't a favourite of mine. There are other minty scents that I like better, but this is another clear you out of the house, toothpastey, fresh minty smell, and I probably will purchase one more of this particular fragrance because this is probably the season where I will use vanilla mint. I know some people love this all year round. There is a citrus note in here which I'm not the biggest fan of, and I think that what's kind of turns me off. If it didn't have the citrus note in here, I would probably love this. But I do want to try some, I guess, Christmassy bakery mixes and see how this holds up. Maybe mix it with a vanilla bean buttercream, a sugar cookie, a gingerbread. So I've got a couple of like ideas I want to experiment with to give that cool, crisp, clean feeling, but add just a little bit of a sweeter bakery touch to it. So that's why I want to pick up another bar, so I can just experiment a little bit with this over the Christmas season. Now, the other one I have, and this is kind of going to be a blast from the past, is one called Eskimo Kiss. So, for those of you who are not familiar with Eskimo Kiss, you might be familiar with Polar Bear Hugs. It is exactly the same scent. 2 years ago, Scentsy did a revamp of this scent and renamed Eskimo Kiss to Polar Bear Hugs. This is one that'll go through my laundry area, my bathroom area. I do also enjoy it in my bedroom. It's just, to me, a clean potpourri scent. It's like a fancy bathroom, freshly cleaned, slightly perfumey, where you've just finished getting ready for a night out. And it's got that kind of potpourri vibe that I get from the Botanic Gardens. Absolutely, I love that scent. So they're kind of the fresh, minty, reset the house scents that I would probably go through at the beginning of November. Now, what I don't have in here, but I would also probably look at going through over Christmas, if I were looking for more minty scents, I would probably pop in the kitchen a Peppermint Dreams, because it's mint and it's chocolate, so it's going to give me bakery, but it's going to give me mint at the same time. And then I would probably, in the bedrooms, do some Olaf Warm Hugs. So they're kind of some other ones that I don't specifically have in my Christmas box, but that I warm all year round, that are in my stash of wax all year round. So there is the potential that I may reach for those scents also. So, as I said, I don't like to start off with too much heavy hitting tree, but I like the smell that's going to give a Christmas vibe, which usually does include tree. But in November, I don't start off with straight pine. It's a little bit too heavy for me. I save that closer to the week of Christmas, where I'm right into Christmassy mood. So my tree scents, to kind of get that Christmas vibe going, are usually on the sweeter side and consists of something that have a little bit of sweet fruit or a cranberry or something like that added to it. So I have from a few scents of the seasons ago, I think 2 years ago, and as you can see, they're very goopy, because this is one that I took out of my Scentsy Club and stocked up on like crazy because it was so cheap. But because of how goopy they are, as I said, I think I'd rather just get 3 come before Christmas, and that way I'm not going to miss it when I use them up. So I still have 2 to use up of red berry and spruce. So this is probably going to go through the open concept area because I do have 2 bars of it, and it is a sweet tree scent with a sweet berry. So this is perfect for November. It's kind of getting into the mood for Christmas, but not quite full on pine yet. And then in my bedroom, I will warm my last bar of Snow Kiss Cranberry. Again, it's another light tree scent with the cranberry adds a sweet berry scent. So these will probably be all warm the same day, 1 in the bedroom and these 2 in the open concept area. So that's kind of going to start me on the tree trail, I guess, through November. Now, my teenager is not the biggest fan of my Scentsy, my eldest, but one scent he does actually like, which he tells me smells like candy, is Berry Blessed. So I'm probably going to split this one between the kids' room, and this is a tart winter berry to me, but it will be perfect for November, getting into that Christmas fruity seasonal vibe. So Another one that I will probably start off actually after my mint scents warming before I do those tree scents. I have 2 Dazzling Pomegranate. This has got like an effervescent spritz note to me, so it is very bright and zesty. You get the tartness of the pomegranate, but that effervescence about it gives it this bright, fruity, zesty. And because our summers here are hot, 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 I kind of feel that that bright, zesty fruitiness is really perfect for our summer. And I actually do have a few broken testers of Dazzling Pomegranate as well. So I will warm this through the open concept area, usually November, and I will flood the diffusers at the same time with watermelon and red berries. It makes for a really fruity but bright Christmas type scent. I have a bar of Very Merry Cranberry, which I picked up in 2020 before it retired, and never got around to warming it. So I want to get that in the warmers at some stage. Haven't decided where in the house, but again, I think this is going to give me that fruity vibe, but this is a little bit more heavier, so it might be towards the end of November because it does have that cinnamon note to it, whereas Dazzling Pomegranate has no cinnamon. It's just more of the pomegranate and fruit note. So there are some old broken testers here that I want to use up. As I said, there's a few Dazzling Pomegranate in here, but I've got 1, 2, 3 Crimson Potukuya. I cannot pronounce that. That is a scent that is retired. It used to come back this season every year, and it's based off a New Zealand Christmas flower. So again, it's floral and it's fruity. So that's something I will warm through November on those hot days where maybe I'm finding those full-on pine tree scents might be a little bit too cloying. So there are other scents in here that I will kind of talk about a little bit later in the testers, but Crimson Potukuya and Dazzling Pomegranate in the testers will be part of my November melting. So let's talk about the kitchen showing. So I'm now up to kind of some kitchen scents that I would probably warm through November, December in here. So I have 2 mixed berry pavlovas. Now this is from a Bring Back My Bar, and pavlova here is a Christmas dessert that is made on Christmas Day for a lot of Australian families. It's a rich meringue topped with strawberries and berries and kiwi fruit and banana and fresh cream, and then what's it called? I can't think if it's a fruit that you open and then you dribble it's got seeds and it's got yellow, and then you dribble on that little bit of passion fruit. That's what I'm thinking of. So, and then you do the juices of passion fruit on top. So that's basically what a traditional pavlova is. This kind of takes off from the pavlova, the sugary meringue and the berries. So that's what this scent takes after. So this will be very fitting to start warming in the kitchen when I'm ready to start with all this Christmas vibe. So that's just going to be, I feel, a really nice kitchen scent. I've got 2 of them, so that will give me 2 different warmings at 2 different stages, possibly one in November, possibly one in December. Now, I'm not expecting to go through all of this particular one because, as I said, when I started as a consultant and all these came into clearance, I went crazy, took them out of my club. So I now still have, I think I brought like 10 of these at this stage, but I still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that's all I've got left. So I have 5 left of gingerbread hugs. I absolutely love this set, but my kids not so much. It's a little bit too spice forward for them. You get the rich gingerbread and you get the spices that you make of gingerbread. This is a little bit too spice forward for them. So I thought I would go like crazy with this in winter as well, until my kids told me they didn't like it. So what I do now is when I warm this, I usually mix it with vanilla bean buttercream. And if you watched my review on the Senspirations Cold Stiff, they have come out with a vanilla bean buttercream gingerbread mix. So that's what I normally do with this one. The Senspirations one is slightly sweeter. It comes across more as a gingerbread snap cookie to me, whereas this is more gingerbread spice cake to me. And so I'm probably still going to have to grab vanilla bean buttercream or sugar cookie and mix with this, but I'm hoping to get at least out of the 5 through 2 of them this Christmas in the kitchen area. So that will bring then my stash down to 3 to possibly use next Christmas or over winter. So as I said, I don't anticipate getting through all 5 because I don't want to be gingerbread out and then not want to reach for it forever. We also had this come back 2 years in a row in our Sense of the Season, so we had it come back last year and the year before, which is kind of why I have a few of them as well by the looks of it. But I definitely do want to get through at least 2 of them in my kitchen area through November and December. If I get through more, brilliant, but I'm not going to push myself to the point where I'm going to be burnt out on the scent. So I have in here 1 maple rum cake. This is from our Halloween collection, which is available now. Another here in Australia, or particularly in my house, traditional Christmas dessert is a fruit pudding or a fruit cake, and that is what maple rum cake reminds me of. It reminds me of a fruit pudding or a fruit cake. So this I'm probably going to pop in my kitchen closer to Christmas time because it just reminds me of what my family love to eat dessert at Christmas time. And I'm probably going to try and, to be honest with you, get another one before Christmas because I really do want a couple of these to warm. This is in my Scentsy Club. I did put this in my bi-monthly Scentsy Club because this is one I would also warm through winter time as well. So this is going to become one that I will get come to me, but I know I will also use on a regular basis. So I picked this particular one up in a D-stash because we never had this one here in Australia, but I did pick it up on a Facebook D-stash and I've had it for quite a while. It's a little bit droopy, so it's time to use this up. And I'm probably thinking one of the things my daughter loves to do Christmas Eve is cookies and milk out for Santa. Don't all kids. So Christmas Eve, I'm thinking of popping in the warmers in the kitchen. This one little bar I picked up in a D-stash, cookies for Santa. So it is a very rich butter cookie, very, very rich. So that's sense for, I guess, the kitchen that I've kind of got in here. Now, they're not the only, now, if you've been following me, you know I love to, of a morning, my kitchen warmers get flooded with all the bakery goodness. So that's not enough to last November and December. So there are going to be other bakery scents. Some of them are in bricks that I'm going to talk about that I'm thinking will be perfect for this month. But I will get to my brick portion a little bit later. And there are probably going to be other bakery scents that I definitely will reach for through the year. Just because I have this box here doesn't mean that I won't be reaching for other scents. As I said, there's possibly other mint scents I'd be reaching for. But the majority of my melting, I want to work from my Christmas box. So now we are delving into, I guess, more Christmas tree scents and more scents that are a little bit more heavier on the tree as we're moving further towards the end of November and December. So this one is probably another one that would be November warming before I went full on heavy into full on tree. And this is from our current scents of the season, which is coming out on the 1st of November. And I will be picking up at least another 2 bars of this to use for this Christmas because I only have one on hand. And then this is going into that quarterly club, so I will have 3 to use next year. But the 2 I pick up, as I said, I'm not going to go super crazy and buy a bunch load of the scents of the seasons. I'm just going to pick up 2 of this particular scent, probably one of the mint scent and one of the other scent which I don't have in here. But would probably be something I would probably warm at Christmas time as one of my bakery scents, which was the salty caramel toffee. So, Crimson Berry Christmas. So this has got that apple and it's got the cranberries. So you've got that fruity note, but then it's got a cinnamon added to it. And that combination of the apple and cinnamon, like it's different to a normal apple, and I think it's because it's got the cranberry as well. It's not like a straight apple cinnamon scent. It's got this added to me depth and sweetness that's really, really pretty. So that's going to go through my open concept area, which is why I want another 2 bars, because I need 2 bars to go through my open concept area. I could potentially get 3 so I can get 2 warmings out of this in an open concept area. If not, one of them will go into the bedroom. So this is going back into my Scentsy Club. It was in my Scentsy Club when it was available, but when I did an edit, this was the apple cinnamon scent I chose to remove when I was choosing to remove apple cinnamon scents out of a heavy apple cinnamon, I guess, selection in my Scentsy Club at the time. So from last year's scents of the season, I still have 1 citrus pear cider. So to me, this is a summer cider as opposed to the heavier winter ciders that I love to warm in winter. So this will probably go in the kitchen area. So just for a little bit of a change, I'm not the biggest citrus fan, so I just want to use that bar up, to be honest with you. And then it will be gone out of my stash. So I do have from last year's Christmas collection 2 Joy and Wonders. So this is like cinnamon and, is it fruit and floral? It's kind of perfumey when I smell this. From memory, I get like a very perfumey, I get that sweet cinnamon. It's quite nice and I do really enjoy it. Now, I'm trying to decide whether I want to put this in open concept area or bedrooms. I don't know if this would get lost in an open concept area. And actually, I could see this actually mixing quite well with Crimson Berry Christmas. So this is again something probably November, towards the end of November, before I get stuck in my tree scent that is still going to give me Christmas vibes, but not full on tree. So that would be what I would potentially look at getting through Christmas-wise November. And the rest, we're heading into December. We're going to want those fig tree scents. So, but I'm not going to want tree all the time. But I'm starting to with the Crimson Berry Christmas, the Joy and Wonder, because that's at the tail end of November. I'm probably starting to amp up that spice you get in December. So I do have one more of this particular bar coming, because this is one that I'm going to mix with a few bars in here. So that is Wassail Wonderland. When I'm looking for a fruit scent that has spice and a citrus scent that has spice that's not apple and that's a little bit different in winter, Wassail Wonderland is what I would reach for. It's also tree, Christmas, orange and spice. It smells like Christmas and I absolutely love this scent. This is probably, to be honest with you, combination of this, not together, but Be Fabulous when it came in summer and this when it came as our sense of the season, to me is what, so between this and Be Fabulous, Wassail Wonderland, prior to trying this, I would have told you I don't like citrus, I am never going to like citrus scents. Those two scents, Be Fabulous and this particular scent, changed my mind and I fell in love with these two scents and realised that there were some citrus scents that I did really enjoy. This being one of them. When it came into the clearance for $5 each, I went berserko, purchased something like 12 of them, which as you can see, look how gooey it is now. This is my last one. It's still in our clearance section, so I did pick up another one because this blends beautifully with other things as well. One of them being that I intend to blend with this year, Sweet Orange Amanda, which was last year's scent of the season. This is kind of a take on Wassail Wonderland, but a lot heavier in the spice, a lot less tree note, and it is very heavy in the spice. I love my spice, but this just is missing the sweetness that Wassail Wonderland carries with it. So I will be using up my last bar of Sweet Orange Pomander and mixing it with a bar of Wassail Wonderland. The second bar I have coming of Wassail Wonderland, I actually plan on mixing with the rest of my Wild for Fall, which was from the Halloween collection. This was supposed to be tree and orange. It's very tart to my nose. It needs the sweetness. I think this will go really well with Wassail Wonderland, which is why I'm getting the second bar, because I don't think I can warm this on its own, to be honest. So I will be mixing the rest of my Wild Fall with Wassail Wonderland as well. Then I have, from this current month's scent of the season, 2 bars left of Sweet Orange and Evergreen. I actually have 3 bars left of this. The third bar is in my 12 month scents of the season collection for me to do my 12 months review when my last scent of the season for the year comes. But I will be looking at going through at least 2 bars, if not that third bar after I do that video review, over Christmas of Sweet Orange and Evergreen. I really enjoyed this scent. The evergreen in here adds a little bit of a sweetness. Didn't enjoy it as much as icicles and evergreen, but I feel this is a little bit fresh, a little bit sweet, so it's kind of building my way up to maybe the heavier pine scents that I'm not always the biggest fan of. So then I have a bar of Feelin' Pine. This is pure pine. And it is just pine. I do believe there is meant to be a eucalyptus note in here, which kind of gives a bit of tartness, but to me it's just pure pine. I'm probably going to pop that in the laundry and the bathroom. It wasn't my favourite Christmas tree scent, but I do still have one bar left from 2020. So it was from the Let It Snow collection in 2020. That's how old that bar is. Last year, Phil and Pine was replaced with Marty Pine, which was another pine tree scent that is just pure pine. Now, this one's more earthy than Phil and Pine, but again, to me, it's going to be another one that's going to be thrown into my bathroom and my laundry. One I didn't quite mind that's heavy in pine was Black Forest Pine. So I have two left from the December scent of the season last year. This has a smoky, incensey note about it, which is kind of what I like. It's got a little bit of a depth with that smoky, incensey note. So this will probably go in the open concept area over Christmas. I have 2 bars to use up of that. I have the rest of what I didn't do of testers and 2 full bars of Happy Holidays. I'm not a fan of this scent, and this is another one that is coming back in our Scents of the Season collection. I will not be purchasing any more of this from the Scents of the Seasons collection on November 1st, but this was when it first came out in 2020. Let It Snow. So it's mistletoe, it's pears. It's just very bitter to my nose. So again, probably bathroom, laundry, garage potentially. Warmer I have in my garage. My husband has finally cleaned out that garage, so I do have a warmer going in there to keep that smelling nice and fresh now. So these could even potentially be making their way there. But these aren't my biggest likes, but I want to use them up this year so they're not in my Christmas collection next year. One that I absolutely love, that I went gung-ho on, that I still have a bunch of, a Blue Christmas. This is my Christmas scent. This and Disney Season of Magic. So this was in last year's Scent of the Season and the years before that. So, which is why I have 2 different packaging. So this was in 2020 Scent of the Season, if you can see the picture. And then this was last year. So you can see the difference in the pictures, but it's exactly the same scent. So this is very similar to Wassail Wonderland, but not as orange heavy. It's more spice and tree with the orange in the background, whereas Wassail Wonderland is orange at the forefront, the tree and spice in the background. But it is beautiful. This is a quintessential, warm, cozy, everything about Christmas smelling. I'm aiming to get through at least 2 of them this Christmas. I do normally get through 2 every Christmas. Potentially, I could get through all 4 of them. It just depends on how the rest of the meltings go. I do find with tree scents, for me, they last a lot longer in my house than other particular scents. So I can pop some of these scents in and I can get 4 and 5 days out of these scents, whereas usually I'm changing a lot of scents out at 3 days because I'm either bored or they're just not performing as well. I've gone nose blind to them. But it does normally take me longer to go nose blind to these, and unless I'm bored at 3 days, I will probably let them lead their life. So I will definitely be getting through 2 of these bars. If I don't get through all of them, these will potentially get warmed in my bedroom, the other 2 over winter if they don't make it to next Christmas. So the last bars in here, I have 2 of Disney's Season of Magic going into my warmers Christmas Eve with sugar cookies. So, well, not sugar cookie, with the cookies to Santa, which will be in the kitchen. So this will be the open concept area. This is another quintessential Christmas tree scent. It's got a fruity, sugary note to it as well. So my house is just going to smell like Christmas. And this is the one that I've just popped into my quarterly Scentsy Club. So I will get another 3 of these come before next Christmas. So I do plan on using these 2 completely over November and December. As I said, my first Scentsy Club shipment, which will have these in there, won't be due to ship until March, I think it was. So at the end of November, I'm going to do a review with you just to show you just how much of this box I got through and how much I have left of Christmas scents. I do have 1 bar left in here, and that is Holly Berry Cinnamon. I did pick up this in the clearance section. I haven't tried this yet, so this will be warmed through Christmas. So let's talk about the rest of what I have in testers that I kind of want to finish up that were hanging around. My testers getting old, broken, so when it was the scent of the seasons, a Wassail Wonderland, so that will go when I warm my Wassail Wonderland. A Gingerbread Hugs, that will go when I warm my Gingerbread Hugs. So I have a couple of jeweled pomegranate in here, so I will probably maybe throw that in the bedroom at the same time as I do Dazzling Pomegranate. So that's just a pomegranate with a little bit of a cinnamon note in here. So I have a little Feeling Pine tester. When I do Feeling Pine, I will get rid of that. And I have a little Red Berry and Spruce tester, which I will warm when I do the Red Berry and Spruce. So, saying that, I do have a few bricks, some of the Christmas bricks we got, I will also be working on during my warming. But that is my warming basket for November and December, or as starting point. As I said, this is the beginning, I guess, of me trying to get my stash down to something more manageable. And what better way to start off with than with my Christmas basket, see what I already have that's kind of Christmas themed that I want to get through this year. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you look forward to my next, what I've been warming. It's getting quite big. End of the month is not far off, so I'll be doing that very soon. And that's when I'll start working with these numbers, just so you can see just how, I guess, much I'm working through, whether I'm actually bringing more in, or whether this idea of creating this type of basket actually works for me. Until then, stay safe and bye for now.